What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the Unfiltered Fit CEO. I'm your host, Coach Breezy, and this is a podcast where we talk about all things health, wellness, and business. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're a CEO that's wanting to learn how to really balance your health and wellness alongside your business without feeling like it has to be put on the back burner, this is the podcast for you. So today we're going to be basically talking about how to set up your own program. There are a lot of resources out there and there are a lot of different things that you can do, but we want to make sure that we have structure when it comes to actually building a program and building a routine that is based around us, right? Because as a business owner, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, your life can be unpredictable. There are so many things that happen on a day-to-day basis that we don't necessarily have control over, but there's a lot of things that we do have control over. So when it comes to these classes and it comes to working out with the trainer in person, it may not always line up with your schedule. So that's why we create something that works for us. And that's what I'm here to do today. So let's get into it. When you are writing your own program, I need you to start with the end in mind. You need to know what the goal is. You need to know, are you training for weight loss? Are you training for muscle gain? Are you training for endurance? What is your actual end goal? Once you know that, then you have to figure out what you have the capacity for right now. Not what sounds good, not what you see other people doing on the internet. What do you have the capacity to do? Is it 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week? There's a difference between what you strive to do and what you want to do and what sounds good and what you actually can commit to. Think about it. This has to be something that we're committing to for a long period of time. Okay? This is not something where we should be kind of going through this hard 75 hard challenge and 60 hard challenge or whatever, like this hard extended restrictive ass challenges are. That's not what we want this to be. We want this to be something that we can sustain long term, something that we can maintain over a period of time. So when we're on vacation and we finally achieve the body that we want, we don't feel guilty for having a drink with our friends. We don't feel guilty for eating the desserts that are on the table. Right? We need something that is balanced, not restrictive. Restrictive does not help us at all. All that does is give us a negative connotation with this health and wellness journey, and that's the last thing we want it to do. You are the person that puts everybody else above yourself. So why would you make it harder to prioritize yourself? It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be the super restrictive thing. It doesn't have to be 5 days a week where you're waking up at 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. and doing all the things, and like, it doesn't necessarily have to be. Now, if that's your prerogative, that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead and do that. But it can be balanced. It can be something that is not, that you don't dread waking up to. So generally, I prescribe 3 to 4 days a week for my clients. No more than 4. Unless we're training for something specific, then maybe we'll go more than that depending on what the goal is. But we start with the end goal in mind, and then we figure out what we have the capacity to do that gets us towards that goal. Then we put a timeline on it. What is the timeline, right? We're working on the SMART goals. So specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, realistic, and timely. So we're putting all of these things together when it comes to making our program. Now, I'm going to try to make this as simple and seamless as possible, but bear with me, okay? I'm not going to prescribe specific exercises or things like that because that's a whole other rabbit hole and different conversation. I'm just trying to help you get structure around your workouts. So, number 1, you figure out what the end goal is. Number 2, you figure out what you have the capacity to do. Number 3, you figure out the timeline for it. Are you putting a 60-day timeline on it? Are you putting 6 months on it? Are you putting 2 years on it? What does that timeline look like in order for you to achieve said goal? Now, once you have all of that, now you can start to structure that around how much time do you have? That goes back to number 2. What do we have the capacity to do? When we're in the gym, are we spending 30, 45 minutes in the gym? When we're in the gym, do we have the capacity during that time? Have we allocated an hour, 2 hours to do that? This needs to be very strict, very restrictive. If you have to set that timer on your watch to figure out how long it's taking you to actually do these things, we need to do that because remember, this is fitting in with everything else that we have going on. This is me speaking from personal experience. Sometimes we can get in the gym, we get a little bit carried away. We said we were going to be here for an hour, we're going to be here for 75 minutes, and we run in our mouth and on our phone in between sets, and we barely got through half the workout, and it's been 2 hours. Now that could just be me, but if I'm feeling good, tends to happen that way sometimes, okay? And then there are other times where I'm not feeling it and I make myself go anyway, and I didn't have the structure that I should have, and now I just wasted the time that I did have to actually get something done. So that's where this structure comes in place. That's where we're trying to figure out what the structure is that we have in place. Now, when we're structuring our actual workouts, we need to make sure that we have a proper warm-up, that we have a proper workout, and that we have a proper cool down. Now, the warm-up consists of two separate things. It consists of mobility and activation. So mobility is just getting your body moving, getting your body ready to move and get into certain things. Activation is the prep for what you're actually going to do in that workout. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing squats today, my mobility movement might be some 90-90s. And the 90-90s are getting my hips ready, they're getting more mobile. But my activation may be more of like a squat jump or a deep squat hold, you know, something like that, that's getting my body ready to do the movement that I'm prepping it to do. Now, when you're structuring the workouts, no more than 4 to 6 exercises in the actual workout. No more than 4 to 6 exercises in the actual workout. You don't need any more than that. If you pay attention to what's called mind-body connection, and you're actually feeling the muscles that you're using, you're not just going through the workout. If I'm being completely honest, you should not physically be able to do 10 to 12 plus exercises in one workout, because you're wasting your time. You're literally wasting your time. You're fatiguing your body. You're not getting any result out of the exercises that you're actually doing. So 4 to 6 exercises, no more. Sometimes even just 4 is good if you're doing it the right way. Now, sets and reps, that's a whole other thing, but just focus on progressive overload. In order to figure out what your sweet spot is, where you should start with your weight, you need to go to not necessarily failure, but you need to pick a weight that it's tough. So say you're doing 3 sets of 10 of an exercise, the weight should feel heavy, not necessarily a struggle or where you're having to, like, you feel like you can't get up, but it should feel hard around reps 8 through 10. That's how you know you're at your sweet spot. From there, you can increase the weight. There's a couple different ways to do it. You can increase the weight in that session, or you can stay with that weight and increase the weight next week, right? So say we're trying to figure out what our number is. We're doing 3 sets of 10 on back squats. We do 100 pounds for 10 reps, and 100 pounds starts to feel a little bit difficult around rep 8, 9. Cool. This is our first week, so we're going to stay here. We're going to stay at this weight. If we get through all 10 and that 100 pounds did not really seem to do much, then you can add 10 to 15 pounds and continue to increase that until you get to your right number. Now, this takes practice, okay? That's why this is such a beautiful journey, because one week you're going to be trying to figure out why 100 pounds is so hard. And then the next couple of weeks after you're consistent with it and you're doing it for a while, you're going to be like, what the that's 100 pounds? That feels light as But it's going to take some consistency. It's going to take you actually sticking with it and figuring out what your sweet spot is to start out, and then progressively overloading as you go. Progressive overload can look like changing the reps or changing the weight or changing both. Okay, but that gives you a variety of different things that you can do over that 4 to 6 week period. One program is 4 to 6 weeks. If you're focusing on this one program for 4 to 6 weeks, then we can start 3 sets of 10 at 100 pounds. Next week, we're going 3 sets of 10 at 115 pounds. The next week, we're going 3 sets of 8 at 120 pounds. You know, just change up that variety, change up that weight, change up the stimulus. You should not be doing 100 pounds for 3 sets of 10 for the entire 4 to 6 weeks. That is the biggest thing. As long as you're switching it up somehow, some way, you're doing a good job. If you're doing anything, you're doing a good job. But you're stalling your progress if you're staying at that same weight because you're scared to increase the weight. I promise you, your body can handle it. Okay, trust your body, push yourself to progressively overload so you can actually start seeing some results. Now, I hope that was helpful. I'm just gonna let me know, because I want this to be helpful, but I don't want to make it super complicated. If it's making sense as you're listening to this, please let me know. If you're like, Bree, what the are you talking about? You lost me way back when. Let me know too, and then I'll try to adjust. Give me some grace. Give me some feedback. Let me know, because as a coach, I've been doing it for so long. It's hard to kind of go back and explain it, but I want to make sure it makes sense. I want to give you the tools and resources that you need for it to make sense for you. So like I said, please just give me some feedback on that. Now with actually creating your own program and learning how to have something that is sustainable, the point of creating your own program is to have some type of resource, some type of structure so that you can actually see results. If you're just constantly picking random workouts out of an app, it's really hard to know what progress you've made. Yes, you're doing something, but it's hard to see the results, and it's harder to stick with because you're not necessarily seeing the results. Yes, things are happening for sure because you're doing something, but it's harder for you to actually track what's going on and stick with it and find that confidence in what you're doing because it's so random. Now, I want to give 5 tips for beginners going through this. And this is honestly helpful for anybody, but 5 tips specifically for beginners that are testing out this fitness journey, that are wanting to do something different, that are wanting something better, but just find it difficult to stick with it. You find it difficult to actually stay focused and stay locked in and find the motivation consistently. So number 1, done is better than perfect. This goes for business, this goes for fitness, this goes for anything. Done is better than perfect. It's not always going to be perfect, but the more you get it done, the more perfect it will be.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything.
It's never going to be pure perfection. Down the line, you will have some workouts and some business days and some things where you're like, that was just, chef's kiss, that was gold.
So good.
But then there'll be others like, I did it. And that's okay. Honestly, it's okay. There are so many times where me personally, I'm like, I'm just not going to do it because I'm not feeling it. Which sometimes yes, but most times no. That's not okay. Most times it's just an excuse because I really just don't feel like doing shit. And I say, okay, I'm probably not going to have a good workout anyway, so let me just not do anything at all. And that is the complete wrong mindset. Done is better than perfect. Doing something, even if you just go down there and do a warm-up, done is better than perfect. You don't have to go through a full workout if you're not fully feeling it, but who knows? Maybe once you do the warm-up, now you're feeling good, now you're feeling yourself, now you actually do a workout and you get something good in. You get something good out of it, but do something. Move your body. With your business, if there's something that you want to do, done is better than perfect. You can go back and perfect it once you've done it. The second thing is going to be master the basics. The basics are going to get you where you want to be. If you don't understand the basics, it's going to be super hard to do anything or to even stay consistent with anything. With fitness, for example, when it comes to things like a squat or a lunge or a push-up, you want to get under the bar and do a bench press, but you don't even know how to do a push-up. You're not even strong enough to hold yourself up for 10 push-ups, but you think that you need to be doing pull-ups on the pull-up bar and doing bench press and all of these things, and that's not necessarily how it works. You can't even get your form right and control a wall sit, but you want to put 100 pounds on your back doing a back squat. It doesn't work like that. And that's how you get yourself injured, by trying to do the things that you see people doing on the internet. You want to go get under a hack squat machine and you can't even spell hack squat. Like
Mutella. Peanut butter.
Let's calm down, let's slow our roll, let's master the basics. Even if you start at home, if you are somebody that is just getting started and you don't necessarily feel comfortable, start at home. Do the movements. Like I said, there's tons of resources. Do the movements and just really get familiar with how to do the basic things. And that will progress you way further than you trying to jump in the deep end and figure it out as you go. Number 3, track some things, but not everything. You have to track something to know where you're starting and to know how far you've come. Yes, it can be annoying to track your meals and to track your macros and to track your steps and to track how many reps and how much weight you did and all of that. It can be annoying, I know. However, in the beginning, it is absolutely necessary. But that's why I say track some things, but not everything. At this point, maybe for week 1, you're tracking your steps. Maybe you're making sure that you hit 10,000 steps a day. Week 2, maybe you're tracking your macros. Maybe you're making sure that you're getting your grams of protein in a day. One hack for tracking your protein and helping you with your caloric intake is your grams of protein in your diet per day should equal your goal body weight. So if your goal body weight is 150 pounds, your daily protein intake should be about 150 grams per day. Now you can break that up, 3 meals a day, 50 grams of protein per meal. You can break it up between 3 meals and 2 snacks. I can do a whole other episode, a whole other something about the nutrition side of it, but that should be your main target when it comes to that. So whether you're tracking your steps, whether you're tracking your macros, whether you're tracking your water intake, whether you're tracking your sleep, track some things so you know where you're starting and you know how far you've come. That's the only way you're actually going to be able to stick to it, because you're going to be able to see the results of the things that you're tracking. Besides, rather than just having no idea and you're just kind of doing things as you go when you feel like it and you don't really know what the results are. Number 4, rest is not lazy, it's strategy. So when you're resting, you're giving your body time to recover. That's why I say 5 to 6 days is not necessary when you're on your fitness journey. 3 to 4, sometimes even 2 is way more effective, because you're allowing your body to rest and recover. Your body, when you're working out, when you're doing these things, you're breaking your body down. You're breaking down these muscles. You're tearing them apart. The actual growth and the actual muscle building happens when you're resting, when you're feeding your body properly, when you're sleeping enough, when you're drinking enough water, when you're doing these things outside of the workout. That's when you're actually seeing the results. So you resting is not lazy. And I know that mental battle between being a CEO and being a business owner, and we just feel like we have to be on the go all the time, on the move, doing this. If we're not doing something, we're just pieces of like, I have that constant battle with myself constantly. But I'm here to tell you that rest is not lazy, it is strategy. As long as you are strategizing and you have a plan around it, you're doing the right thing. So allow your body to rest, allow your mind to rest, allow all of the things to kind of recoup. Figure, if you need a self-care day, figure out a self-care day. If you're doing it on a budget, figure out how to do it on a budget. There's things all over Pinterest, there's things all over Lemonade, there's things, all of these resources to actually help you recover and rest the right way, so that it's not just you feeling like a lazy piece of it's actually you recovering and refueling your body in order to be able to come back and be better. Last but not least, number 5, make it fun or you won't do it. If you don't find something that you enjoy along this journey, then you're not going to stick with it. If you don't find a way to enjoy the process and to actually embrace the journey, if you don't find a way to actually enjoy this entire process, then you're going to just be suffering throughout it for no reason. There are so many different ways that you can do it. There's so many different forms of exercise. There's Pilates, there's yoga, there's cycle, there's solid core, there's strength training, there's group classes, there's all of these different things, all of these different resources. Find something that you enjoy. It's okay if the thing that you enjoy is not what you see everybody else doing. If you like boxing, but your friends like running, maybe y'all can just meet up after. If you like strength training, but your friend likes cycle and you despise cycle, maybe y'all can just, have some coffee or something afterwards and meet up on off days. Maybe y'all can just go do some co-working sessions together or something like that. Like, don't feel like because you see all of these people doing the Nike Run Club that you have to go be a runner and you despise running. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Don't sit here and cook all chicken, rice, and broccoli if you gag every time you smell baked chicken. Figure out what you enjoy. There's plenty of other options that don't have to feel like it's super restrictive and you just hate this entire process. Okay? Make it fun. I want to give a huge shout out to Hyperice. Hyperice has helped me out with so many of my events, and they also have helped me out with just my own personal recovery. Whenever my body is feeling like super stressed and hard to recover because all of the stresses are going on outside of my workouts, outside of business, outside of life in general, they've got these Normatec boots, they've got this massage gun, they've got all of these resources, and I absolutely love them. Make sure you check them out. There is a link in my bio. I also have a community for business owners, entrepreneurs, and if you are somebody that is looking for that support, you're looking for co-working sessions, you're looking for resources, you're looking for easy workouts, you're looking for a community of like-minded individuals, this is the community for you. So join the Fitpreneurs Collective. All of these descriptions and everything will be in the links in the thingy down there. So have any questions, comments, concerns, if this was helpful, let me know. If y'all want to see other topics, if y'all have anything that y'all want me to talk about, anything that you have questions on, just let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.